Hey friends, it's Susie from Teaching Tech Academy. Have you ever wanted to learn how to build your own website, but you really didn't know how to start? Like, what's a domain name? How do I get hosting? What's a URL? What's a theme? I don't even know where to start. Well, don't worry, because I got you covered. I want you to grab a cup of coffee, tea, or your perfect beverage of choice and sit back, because over the next hour and 15 minutes, I'm going to show you how to build your very own WordPress site. Now, if you like this tutorial, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and smash that notification bell so you'll get notified when I produce more content just like this. So if you're ready, I'll see you on the inside. Hello there and welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your WordPress and hosting and domains all through using Bluehost. Now, it's one of the hosting companies I recommend. So go to bluehost.com and you'll come to this page and you want to go to WordPress. And down here, you want WordPress hosting. So click on WordPress hosting. You're going to want a shared WordPress hosting. And you're going to want to choose your plan. So let's go ahead and choose our plan. Okay, we've got a couple of choices here, Basic, Plus, and Choice Plus. And what we're looking for is something that's going to have a free SSL certificate. This will ensure that your site is secure. And it also helps in your Google ranking or search engine ranking because Google will favor sites that are secure. And a lot of these hosting companies will provide you the certificate for free. If you don't have one and you're going back to your hosting company to get one, they can, it's going to cost you some, but it depends on what your hosting company will do for you. You might want to get on the phone and call them. But, you might as well search for one that already has it in there. Okay, so we're going to go to this Basic and hit Select. And we're going to pretend we don't have a domain. Again, if you're using your own domain, we can do another tutorial in that later on. But for this one, we're going to assume you don't have a domain or you just want to create a domain that you're going to use for a workshop that allows us to just roll up our sleeves, dive in, make mistakes without perhaps changing an existing website. Okay, so I'm going to create a new domain. So I'm going to start with Lady Course Creators. Now I already have the .com. I have the .net. Let's see, which one should I do? I think I'm gonna do, let's do .info. Okay, now I'm gonna hit next. It brings us to the create your account page for the domain ladycoursecreators.info is available. Fantastic, that's great. Now I'm gonna go down and we're going to fill out all of our information. We're gonna go down to our account plan, okay? So for 3 years, it's at $2.95 a month. I really only want to do this for 12 months. You guys can decide how much time you want to commit, or really it's more of a financial commitment at this time. So I'm just going to do the Basic for 12 months, which brings it up to $4.95 a month. Again, not going to break the bank. Our SSL certificate is free, which is awesome. Now let's talk about the package extras, okay? There's a lot of stuff here and a lot of people get a little overwhelmed when it comes to this. I want you to deselect these two, okay? So basically all I want you to do is the domain privacy and protection, okay? So it's billed at a year for $12 a year. What this is it removes your information as the current owner of the domain name, okay? So for instance, pretend all these domains are on a phone book, okay? You don't want someone to be able to look up your domain and find out that you're the owner. It just adds another level of privacy. So if somebody wants to go look up who owns ladycoursecreators.info for the next year, it's not going to come up with me and my name and my address. It'll come up with a generic sort of umbrella of domain register. We've got our domain, our hosting, our free SSL, and our domain privacy protection, all for a grand total of $71.28. You're going to fill out your credit card information and click the I have read. Okay, I'm going to do mine now. And then I'll hit my submit button and I'll see you on the confirmation page. Great, you should get this page. Your purchase was a success. They sent my email confirmation, set up your account. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to now create an account, okay? So this will allow you to access your brand new WordPress site, okay? So go to create account. We have our domain name already pre-entered, okay? You're going to create a password and retype the password. Now, please, 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 please do yourself a favor. Copy this, write it down immediately. Don't hit the create account button. Don't do anything. You're going to need this password in a minute, okay? This password will allow you to log in to your website or your WordPress dashboard, okay? So do not forget it. A lot of these hosting companies make you have very detailed passwords. And I'm not going to show mine, but I'm going to go ahead and create my account, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, as predicted, as soon as I clicked into create password, Bluehost is coming up with a highly detailed password that they suggest. I'm grabbing it. There's no way anybody's going to remember that. So I immediately copied and pasted to where I keep my passwords for these type of lessons. Okay, so now I'm going to click I have read and agreed to the terms of service, and I'm going to hit create account. Your account is ready to go. Now you can log in. Go to login. Okay, here is where you need that password that you just created or copied. Okay, so I'm just going to paste it and hit login. Okay, so once I logged in, I get this choice of creating a website. We don't need to do this. I want you to scroll down to the bottom and say, skip for now. Now it's installing WordPress. Okay, so we're at this site. Do not worry about it. We're going to be doing our own site creation. So I want you to go to over here where it says WordPress. And fantastic, here you are in your WordPress dashboard. Okay, so there's a few things I want to do before we begin building out your WordPress site. And that is we want to go down to the plugins, okay? And hover over plugins and you want to hit installed plugins. Now plugins are things or features, I should say add-ons. Think of it as small little software packages that are used to make your site run better. But the thing is, you have to be kind of careful with plugins because you don't want to get a bloated website. So the more plugins that you have, it can slow down your website speed. It can also make other things look a little wonky. So you really want to be able to be smart and pick and choose the plugins that are really going to work for you and not just slow you down. Now, Bluehost is awesome and they provide a lot of free plugins, but we're not really going to need them. So what I want to do is we have a nice clean slate is I want to go ahead and I want you to help, I want you to delete a few things. So all I have to do is I'm going to delete this first one. I'm going to leave the Bluehost. I'm going to leave the Google Analytics, and we can talk about that in another lesson. I'm going to delete Hello Dolly. It's just a basic fluff plugin. I'm going to delete these other ones, okay, because we're not going to need them. All right? Now, again, all I'm saving is Bluehost, and I'm going to save the Google Analytics. Again, we may or may not get to that in this lesson, but, you know, it's always good to have. Okay, now that I have those selected, I'm going to go to Bulk Actions up here, select that, and I'm going to hit Delete. Okay? Then I'm going to hit Apply. And it says, are you sure you want to delete the selected plugins? Yes. And if for some reason they're not going out, for some reason it just sort of stopped at these, I could either do that again or I could just go to each one and say deactivate. It takes a little bit longer, depending on your speed. And then you can hit delete and it'll come up with a warning. It all depends on how fast. I'm currently working in an area where the Wi-Fi is not the fastest, but that's okay. We'll get through it. At least I can show you two different ways to delete these plugins. Okay, now we are In a state of our WordPress site where there's hardly any bloat, we just have 2 plugins installed. So that's great. It's a nice, clean, fresh slate. So let's talk about themes, okay? Now, a WordPress theme is kind of a set rule of designs and things that'll make your site, it really cuts down a lot of work. So let's just go over to Appearances and go to Themes. All right, and it will come with these standard ones. Usually they're the name of the most recent years. Here's the 2020 theme. And again, you can hit the live preview to see what they look like. Typically, they're not the most exciting in terms of design, and that's fine. We don't need it because we're going to be building out our own. But what a theme does is it really gives you a head start in sort of how your site looks. And sort of the design. Think of it as if you're building a house or you're buying a house. You know, there's a lot of different styles. There's center hall colonials. There are moderns. There are coastal contemporaries. There are Tudors. There's a lot of different style of homes. So if you want to go, you're not going to go buy a center hall colonial if you want a modern home. Okay, you could, but it'd be a lot of tearing down and rebuilding. So if you wanted to, why not just go buy a modern home and then customize it to your needs, okay? So think of that as like a theme, okay? It's going to give you sort of a head start. Now, the theme I want you to install is something called Astra. And in order to do that, we're on our themes page. There's a couple things we can do. We are going to just do, actually, we're just going to do it right here. We're going to say Add New Theme. So I'm going to click on the plus button. In the search bar for search themes, I'm going to type in Astra, A-S-T-R-A, and it should come up. And Astra is a really, really good theme. I've been working in WordPress for years, decades almost. I've built a lot of websites and various different themes. Astra is really good. Doesn't have a lot of bloat. It's got just what you need. It works really well with a lot of plugins that we might be using later on in this tutorial. So it's completely free. Yes, there is a pro version. We don't need that. So let's go ahead, and all you have to do is hover over it. If you want to preview it, by all means, hit the preview. So let's do that first so you can see. And it's not really going to show you a whole heck of a lot. It just gives you a little bit of a workaround, or just a description rather. So some of them will give you a little bit more if you do the preview. So let's just do this. We're going to hit install. And once it's installed, I want you to hit activate. Okay, it's not just enough to hit install, you need to activate it. Okay, now you'll see we're under appearances and themes, and you see our Astra is installed, okay? But the beauty of Astra is that they come with some awesome website templates that are completely free. So we can go ahead and choose a template, add our logo, add our branding colors, swap out the content or the text for what we might want to say for us, and boom, your site is done. So how do we do that? Well, we're still under appearance. I want you to scroll down, and now you'll see Astra options because we installed Astra theme. So let's click on Astra options. And check this out. Did you know Astra comes with dozens of ready-to-use starter templates? Yes, okay. So all we have to do now, let's just scroll down, just so you can see what's here. We're going to say Get Started, and it's activating. Now it's going to ask us to select a page builder, okay? We're going to use Elementor. It's completely free. Now, what is a page builder? A page builder is all the tools you need to build something. So think of if you're building a house, okay? You're going to need windows, okay? You're going to need doors. You're going to need doorknobs. You're going to need plumbing. You're going to need pipes. You're going to need tub, a shower, and all that stuff. Elementor will provide you with all of these items, whether it's an image, a video, a headline, a group of text, a testimonial block, an image gallery, and so on and so on and so on. So we are going to select Elementor. It is one of the best. This is a free version. And now this is going to bring us to all of our awesome Astra templates. Now, the ones that say agency are the premier ones, and those will cost. And again, there's a link below. I will have a link below to all things Astra if you wanted to upgrade to the Pro plan. But we certainly don't need to right now. What we can simply do is hit up here in the all. Instead of searching all, we want the free. And so we're going to check on free. All right, great. Look at these. There's a million, not a million. There are at least a couple of dozen of sites here that are ready to go. So if you want to just hover over one, here's one for custom printing. You can just click on it. It shows you what pages come with it. So home, about, contact. And again, all of this is customizable, but it'd be great to start with something as close to your design aesthetic as possible. Okay, so that'll save you a lot of time. And if I wanted to see what it looked like, I just hit down here. It says preview custom printing site. I'm going to click on that. And here it is. Okay, and you can go through and see what it's like. And now, for instance, this, you may not be having this, but suppose you have another company where you are selling some goods. It could be jewelry, it could be anything, sportswears or whatever. Here's got a call to action with a deal. Here are some featured products. All right. Here are some testimonials. And here's our footer. Okay. So this is a great one. Now this also has the all products page, which is, fairly simple to do. This does involve a WooCommerce or e-commerce plugin. Okay, so let's go back to the starter templates. And we're going to go back. All right, let's find one that is, here's one for a life coach. Now check this out. They have home, about, work with me, books, and contact. Let's check out what this one looks like. So we're going to preview life coach site. Okay, so check this out. All of this is completely customizable. But again, start with a design that you can work with, and then all you have to do is maybe change the font or change some of the color, swap out the images. And that way it saves you a ton of time. All of this is completely customizable. And let's see, let's check out the about. Here's her about page, her goals. And again, you get the idea. I don't want to go through all of these, but pick one that you think is fairly close to what you would need for your website. I think for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to go with this nutritionist site. This is great. It's got the programs, contact, a blog, which is awesome, testimonials. All right, so in order to load this, I'm just going to simply go down here. It says import complete site. Now I have a choice to just import some of it. So if I want to hit the about page, it says import about, okay? So for our purpose, I don't see why not. I'm just going to import the complete site. So ready? Here we go. Now, it's going to give me some options. Delete previously imported site. So, for instance, if I wanted to change it, so, I don't like this one. I want to try another one. All I would have to do is hit this one, delete previous site. But again, we don't have one. Yes, import the settings, customizer settings. You're going to want that. It's going to make it quick and easy to customize the site. Import the widgets. Yes, these are the special bells and whistles that come with the site. You definitely want these. Install required plugins. Yeah, that's kind of a no-brainer, and actually it's required. And import content. Yeah, I'm going to import the content. That means it's going to import all of their images, which for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to just do that. You're going to want probably your own content, but like I said, it just makes it nice and easy for me to show you how to actually build out this site. Okay, now all I'm going to do is hit import. And again, it says it can take anywhere between 2 and 10 minutes. Okay, it's finally imported. And we can go now and say view site. Okay, here we go. So now I am ready to see. I see that there's some issue here. There we go. It just wasn't loading fast enough. Okay, look at this. This is really a beautiful, well-designed, professional site. Okay, and now you are ready to customize it. All right, let's get started by customizing our new website. So here we are in the preview of it. In order to go back to our dashboard, just go up to where you can either go to customize, but I want to go here. See where it says welcome? And now I want you to hit dashboard. I just want you to see that the pages were actually added. So in your dashboard, you're going to scroll down to where it says pages and then go to all pages. Here are the pages that were imported. We got the about, blog, contact, all of this. The privacy policy came standard with the install of WordPress. Sample page we don't need. I'm just going to hit that and hit trash. That was just preloaded on a WordPress site, okay? And then success stories. So as you can see, all the pages are here for us and ready for us to customize. Okay, now let's start customizing this. You scroll down to the left side, or go over to the left side, hover over appearance, and hit customize. This is going to take us to a section that will allow us to set things like the logo and all these various other things. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through this one by one. Now we have our Astra theme. Well, that's fine. We're not going to change it. Now it says more options available in Astra Pro. We can talk about that later. Let's go to our global options. These are things that are global throughout the entire site, like the typography and the colors and how things are laid out and the buttons. So for instance, let's hit on typography. And I'm going to leave the base typography. This is fine, but you can certainly change it. I'm going to leave it as is. I want to see the headings though, okay? So this is the font that they currently have here. And we're going to just swap this up a little bit just so you can see how these headings are going to change. Things like this, some of these bigger headlines, okay? I'm just going to hover over the family. And I'm going to type in to see, I think they have, there we go. I happen to like this one. Okay, you can see there's a subtle change in the font, okay? If you scroll down just ever, because I did change. Now, if I wanted to add, say maybe I wanted things a little bit thicker or heavier, I could add some weight to it, to the letters. Okay, see how they're a little bit thicker? I can have them all uppercase or all lowercase or capitalized. So line height, I can adjust that. But you know what? I'm going to tell you that these are really well designed. So yeah, play around with your colors, but I wouldn't change a whole heck of a lot in terms of text weight and line height, things like that, unless you really feel it necessary. And then here's our heading 1. You can change the size. So say instead of 70, you can see how it's just automatically getting larger. Heading 2 is a little bit smaller, and that's at 40. I'm going to guess it's around this, like this one right here. Let's see what that one does. Okay, that is not for that one, but that's okay. And you can just see, there we go. This is an H3, or heading 3. See, you can just make that larger or smaller. And really, it's just hit or miss. It's really about experimenting. Okay, once you're done, hit publish so that you can save your changes. And let's hit this back arrow. And now we're going to hit the back arrow again because we're still in customizing global typography. Let's customize our colors. And here is where you can create these headlines and the buttons and all these things and your hover things so that they match your brand. So let's go to base colors. And here's where we can change all of this stuff. So I'm just going to click into this one. It's this theme color. I'm just going to randomly pick this. I'm going to put this cool blue. Not sure how that's going to look. But while I'm here, let's see where this is affecting. Okay, we probably don't have a heck of a lot. I'm trying to find, I see there are buttons or this or that green. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this code. This is a hexadecimal code, okay? So I'm just going to highlight it, hit Command C to copy. If I don't like what I don't, like for instance, this is, I hated this and I decided, no, I don't like it, I could just hit the clear button. And then you want to go back and figure out what this color was, copy it, and go back and paste it, okay? So that's just one way to do it. Okay, so let's just go back to, again, I don't even know what the color was. That looks pretty darn close. Okay, and now the link color. I'm going to copy that too. Okay, now you can see over here the home and these links have now changed to that blue. The button color we're going to get to in a minute. And here's our heading color. Suppose we want to change this to something, maybe a softer gray. And here we go. As you can see it down here, it's that nice softer gray. You could change it to something completely different. And you could see all this, okay? Again, these are for all your headings. You can certainly separate them. Background color, if you wanted to have a background color, I prefer to do my background colors per each row. Okay, and that's it. You can have an entire image. But again, I wouldn't suggest you mess too much with the look because these are really professionally designed to begin with. Okay, and when you're done, hit publish and go back. We got colors and base colors and go back again. Let's do container. We're gonna leave this. Okay, so play around with this if you want to. This will change how your things appear on the page. They might be, full width, contained, stretched. Let's see if I can find content boxed. Let's see if we can see if that makes any change. You might not see it in each one of them. No, it doesn't really. It depends on the pages. Again, I wouldn't mess around too much with the layout, only because these are really well designed to begin with. Okay, now I'm going to go back. Buttons. Let's go to buttons. We can do the color and the background color. I think I still have that on my clipboard. I'm going to match that teal color. Yeah, okay, so you see how the buttons changed up here as well. Now the hover is still green. Suppose if I want to change the hover color, you can change the text color if I wanted to change it to a black. And down here. Now the hover color, now you can change, let's see, let's first change the background. Maybe I'll change it to this darker blue, make it real dark so you can see it. There we go. And now I want my text color to be yellow. So let's see what happens. Okay, you see what happens there? All right, again, these are all personal preferences if you want to change the typography for the text and what have you. Great, now let's continue on. Let's go into our header. Very important, let's talk about our site identity. So we're going to go into this. Here is where we're going to change our logo. So let's go into change logo, and I'll show you how you can do that. If you have a file, you want to select it from here, and obviously you're just going to go on to your computer and select where you have it. Please make sure that you see that it is around 180 by 60 pixels. All right. If something was already uploaded, you're going to find it in your media library. So here it is here. Now again, remember when we installed this, we said install the content as well. And this is exactly what this happened here. Okay. All right, so that's how you would change your logo. You can make the logo larger. Okay, then you see as you increase it, you're going to get a lot of space here. A site icon. All right, now here's what a site icon is. You see these little things, these little images up here? This is called a favicon or favicon. It's F-A-V-I-C-O-N. Okay, all you need to do is select that. And for instance, I'm going to do this little buddy right here. I'm not even sure if it's going to be the right size, but let's check it out. And this is how it's going to look up in our tab, in our browser. Okay, I see that there's been an error because this image is clearly way too large. But if you needed that, I think it's around, I forget the size. Let me see if it says the size here. Oh, it's not even acting on that. Yeah, I would just do a small, like 100 by 100 pixel square image, and then you just simply upload it here, okay? Your site title, you can say welcome. I like to use it as the actual title of the site, so I'm going to say my awesome site. I can choose whether I want to display the title, and that will display right here. I usually don't like that. Okay, tagline, if you have a specific tagline, I just leave that blank and I disable it. I don't have a tagline. And if I wanted to change the typography, I can do that here. Okay, moving along, let's talk about the primary header. Here is how it is now set up. We have a logo on the left and all of our navigation on the right. We can change it out like this. Okay, where you have the logo on top. This is also very nice looking. You can also do this, although I rarely see sites that have it this way. Again, okay, so just play around what works with you. Here's when you want to change your mobile layout. Do you want the logo and then the menu? See those three little lines called hamburger icon? Or if you want the logo and then the menu. All right, there's a lot you can do, a lot you can customize. As much as you want or as little as you want. Okay, now here is your menu. Now, again, I would keep it pretty much the way it is. If you wanted to add a search at the end of your menu, you could certainly do that. Okay, there's a search field. Sometimes you might want to have a call to action button. Maybe you schedule now and then it has a link. So again, whatever you need, and of course you can adjust all this. This really makes it super easy. Transparent header, again, if you're going to do something called which there won't be any white in the background, just completely will show right down to whatever picture is behind here. You can certainly do that. And again, just go through. If you don't like the changes, just don't hit this publish button, but play around. And again, you can really customize this without much headaches. Okay, breadcrumbs. That's when you show like, okay, your home, it's kind of, I don't use them. Breadcrumbs are where you see where you are on the site. Maybe you're under a lesson, so you have the course title, the module, the lesson, it kind of breaks it down to where you are. Here's your blog. You can certainly take a look at how your blog is going to look and what the single post will look like. You get your comments and things like that. These you can switch around. You can do all kinds of things. You can remove them. Okay. Again, take some time and just with sidebar, when you have the default layout, we don't have any sidebar, but for the blog post, we might want one. So just check it out. And now we're going down to the footer. Footers are at the bottom. Okay. All right, so here we have the email. We've got her social. Looks like some social icons. Of course, the copyright, the logo, address. So let's take a look at the footer widgets. You can change the layout. There's a whole heck of a lot you can do in here and really just make it your own. You can change the background, all kinds of stuff. Again, play around with it to make it your own. And I'm going to say, I don't want the changes. I'm just going to say, I am going to navigate away from this, okay? All right, now let's go down to menus, okay? So menus. This is our top navigation, okay? And I can show you how to change these around. So currently, it's going to be, this one's called primary menu, or top navigation, rather. If you wanted to switch these around, maybe you wanted success stories before programs. Maybe you wanted a blog before that, okay? So these are completely customizable. If you wanted to add a page, you can certainly do that. And just leave it where it is. This is the top, it was named top navigation was the name of the menu, and of course it's just gonna be here in this location. That's menus. Widgets, we're not gonna really get into. Homepage settings. Now your home page, do you want it your latest post? Like, are you just going to do a blog and you're not going to have everything else? You're not going to have contact, or Well, you are, but maybe you want people, when they type in your domain name, you want them to go immediately to your blog, which a lot of people do. Then you're just going to click on your latest blog post. If not, you're going to send them to a page. And in this case, I want them to go to my homepage. I could also say I want them to go to my programs, okay? Maybe they want, for some reason I'm running something and I just want them to immediately go to that. Okay, so you have your choices there. And your post page is going to be your blog. Okay, that is how you get started quickly customizing your brand new site by using the Customize button that you can find in your dashboard. Go to Appearances and hit Customize. Okay, now let's take a look at what the site looks like. So if you want to do that, hover over to where it says Welcome, or it might say the name of your site right here. But whatever it is, just hover over that and hit Visit Site. Let's take a look. Okay, I did not change the settings after the buttons, but at least, you can see I did make a change in the font and in the color. And of course in here. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to learn how to swap out the template content for your own content using our page builder called Elementor. Now there's a couple of ways in which to do, we're going to do an edit we're going to edit it with Elementor. Say that 5 times fast. And you can get there by either going to Edit with Elementor over here, but I'm going to show you just to go back into your dashboard. So go to your Welcome or whatever yours might say something right here, may say the name of your site, and go to your dashboard. Okay, now let's go down to Pages and All Pages. I'm going to start with editing the home page. So I'm going to hover over Home Page, and you see you've got this menu down here. When you hover over it, we're going to hit Edit with Elementor. Okay, now this is where the fun begins. This is where you can completely customize it, add your content, add your text, anything that you need to make it your own, you can easily do in Elementor. Remember, this is our page builder. And in the beginning of this lesson or this tutorial, I was telling you that Elementor gives us all the tools. So we can add videos, we can add buttons, Google Maps, images, you name it. And now, of course, if you go pro, you can add a little bit more. But for now, we're just going to stick with the basic version. So let's get started, shall we? Now, I want to explain how pages are created. So within each page, you're going to see these blue sections, okay? And if I scroll down, and within the sections, you'll see some other things. These are columns. So this is a section. Let's see if I can highlight it. See this blue line? It goes all around this top box, okay? So this is a section. And within the section, we have 2 columns. We have the left column and we have a right column. Now within these columns, we have a couple of widgets. Here's some of the widgets, okay? We have, this looks like a heading. And we have another one that's styled a little bit differently. This is probably the text editor. We have a form, which we're going to delete, which I'll show you in a minute. On this side, we have an image and another type of box graphic here. Okay, now in order to change the contents in here, let's start with this section itself. So this dark blue piece right here, all right? So I want to change this. Now, how do I change this? Well, I'm going to hover over it. I'll show this again until I see at this top. You got a plus, which means you're going to add a section. You got these 6 dots, which means you're going to edit. And of course, the X, which is delete. Okay, we're not going to do that. So let's go over to the middle one and hit Edit Section. Now it's going to say meet right click. I know. Well, for now, we're just going to not worry about it. We're just going to hit on that. Okay, typically when you are editing something, you are presented with 3 different options. We can edit the layout, we can edit the style, and we can do some more advanced stuff that has to deal with positioning. Let's start with layout. Leave the content width as boxed. You can change it around to full width, but again, these templates have been professionally designed, so I would stay with the layout and things like that. But for our purposes, we're really going to focus more on the styling of the pages. So here I am in this section, and it says Edit Section up here. I'm in the style. And the first thing I see, if I don't see this, is the background. Okay, now if I go to the background and I hit this paintbrush, it's going to give me the option of either adding a color or an image. Now currently it has this image. I don't know if you can see it back there, but it's there. If you wanted to change it, you could say choose image. And again, I'm just going to, for the simplicity of this, I'm going to go with this image. Should be good. I'm just looking at the pixel size. Let's say insert media. Yeah, can you see that? I'm going to drop the opacity of this overlay. Okay, so now it's here. And you could slightly change the positioning, but it's hard to see right now. Okay, sizes, cover. Again, play around with this stuff. And if you don't like it, just don't hit the update button, or you want to get out of it, just don't save your changes. Okay, so let me just change the background overlay. This is this dark blue color over here, so that we can see it a little bit better. Okay, so here it is, background overlay. This is a gradient. Okay, so it's got two colors, dark to a slightly lighter. This is a really good professional look. And if you wanted to change this, you certainly could. Let's just say, for the sake of it, let's just go to, we want to do, okay, maybe that color. And the first color, I'm going to make it like a little bit lighter. Obviously, you're going to spend more time and using your brand colors. You can change the type of gradient. So that's linear. And you can change the angles. I use this a lot. I use the linear a lot. You could drop the opacity, just slight. There's a lot of flexibility with this. So now you can see the image. Let's go back there now that we can see it, just so I can show you. Now sometimes it depends, but if you want to change this the way around, let me see if it'll, this image. Okay, so see, now this is going to show us more of the top part of the image, the top center. Okay, let's see what the bottom center looks like. Okay, so if you have an image that's got some, I don't know, different content in different places, play around with this. Of course, you can do custom. I always tell my students to have fun with this. Now you see this? Here's something I wanted to show you. It is, here's the end of one image, and it's repeating because it's not large enough. You can easily go down and fix it. See, repeat, no repeat. So it's going to do its best to fill that. So we also want, instead of cover, we want to say contain. Okay. Now again, I probably messed this up by doing changing too many things at once. That clearly does not look good. Yeah, there we go. So it depends on your image whether you can do it, but definitely hit the no repeat. All right. Here's something else you can do, is in the attachment. Now, if I want to hit fixed, check this out. The background stays and the content moves. I love using this, but it's like a pungent spice. A little goes a long way. One or two times max on a page, I think, is beautiful. I happen to love that. So again, that was just attachment, and hit fixed. And you know what? I am going to hit update. All right, now while we are here, let's go to this left column. And again, I'm just going to highlight where it says the column icon. Okay, again, layout, you can adjust it if you want. Look at this. I can slide this one over. All right, just by simply hovering in between. So you can fine tune. I like that. That looks pretty cool. You can play around with this stuff. Let's go to edit. In the edit column, let's go to the style. If you wanted to change the color, I don't suggest messing around with this because it's going to add a color back here. This is such a beautiful design to begin with. If you needed a border around it, you could do that just by saying solid or what have you, giving it a color. Let's make something obvious and giving it some weight, okay? I'm going to go back to none. All right, so let's go into these individual widgets. So we have our two columns. Now I'm going to go into this one. Okay, so I'm just simply clicking on it, and it's edit heading. So instead of saying, hello, I'm a nutritionist, I'm going to say, book and appointment now, or whatever you wanted to say. And it can come up here. We can style it. So we did that before. Text color is this green. I don't want it. Maybe I want it this color. Okay, I can change the typography. This is fun. This is a lot of fun. I love doing this. And I could just change the size. I can change the weight. Maybe I want it a little bit bolder. Just play around. This is a lot of fun. Now, we talked about this in the customizer. Personally, yeah, I mean, that's great for an overall, like a headline or a button. But when it gets down to the individual, some of these little special pieces I just want to, make stand out a little bit different, I like going right in here and changing them on the fly, so to speak. And you can see you can go on. Now, we'll get to this form in a minute. Let's go over to this column. Okay, so now suppose I find it really tight around here. We have not talked about the advanced, and the advanced really gives you some breathing room between your elements, okay? So, or your widgets. So I'm gonna go over here, click on that icon. Again, you're gonna see I'm editing a column. And I'm gonna click advanced. Now, if I wanted to give it some margin, I can change the margin by all at once by linking the values together, or I could just do it by unclicking. Let's do the top. You can see how that's moving everything down. If I wanted to do the left, because I feel like it's getting a little tight, you can add a little bit more, but it will make it a little bit smaller. Padding is the same. Essentially, padding will give you the difference within, or some space within its element. Again, it takes a little bit of practice understanding margin and padding. I love to tell people, make a page, throw some widgets up there, and mess around. You certainly don't have to put the page up in your menu, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Okay, now let's talk about, again, we're down here. This is another section. You can see this other section, and you might be asking, how did this get achieved, this little pointed arrow or this something? Okay, this is called, hang on one second, I'm just going to highlight this. It's called a shape divider, and this can create these shapes at the top and bottom of each section. Okay, not for each element, but the sections, and this can really add some cool effects. So here's our shape divider. I'm going to just go to the bottom and see it says triangle. It's at the bottom of this element that we just talked about. If I wanted to do something different, maybe I wanted to do a tilt. We could do that, and we could adjust that. Okay, there's a lot of fun things you can do. This. You want to flip it, we could flip it. Okay. Now this is at the bottom of the container. Maybe we wanted to do waves. So you can adjust the height, kind of the placement of them. Play around to what you think would look good with your brand. And you can just easily change these up. I love the shape divider feature. Okay, I'm just going to go back to tilt. Oh wait, it was triangle. Okay, triangle. And I think I inverted that. There we go. Okay. Now you can continue on and do the same thing with each of these sections. Here's one here with 2 columns. Okay, and it's got, looks like a headline, some text editing, a text editor, a button. Again, here's something else. If you're wondering what these all are, just click on them, see what it is. This is an intersection, which is a section within a section. If you wanted to change this up, you just edit the column and simply add what you need, the images. If we wanted to change the image. I don't know how this is going to look, but we're going to see. Okay, see, look, there we changed this. Alrighty, now suppose you're saying this is all well and good, but how do I add stuff? Okay, I'm going to go down to the bottom because that's the easiest place to show you how to add things. All right, so suppose I wanted to add a section. I'm going to find one of these pink squares with a plus. Now, if I wanted it in between, I just have to go to this button. Okay, let's do it this way. It says add a section. It's going to add a section between these two. And I'm going to click on this little plus button here. Now, here is what the structure, or here's where I decide the structure for this section. Now, let's suppose this time I wanted to do, let's see, there's a 2-column here. Why don't I do a 1-column just to show you how to drag and drop a few things. So I'm going to hit this one, which is just a 1-column. It's going to be full width. You can see it right here. Doesn't look very big because we don't have any content in it. In order to do that, let's go over to the left side which is our Elementor menu. I'm going to click on this icon of 9 blocks. Now let's add a heading. I'm going to say a fascinating heading is here. Not even sure if that's spelled correctly. All right, so fascinating heading is here. I'm going to center it. And let's go to the style. Now, look, see, it came in that blue that we had set up in our customizer. So I don't have to worry about changing the font or the color. Now, I'd like to add a video. Maybe I have an exercise video or some sort of a training video. I'm going to click on these 9 little boxes, and I'm going to go to video. You see where the blue is? That's where I can drop it. I can drop it above it or below it. I'm going to hit below. Okay, automatically Elementor will load your video with this video placeholder. If you wanted one of your own, you're going to go to YouTube, grab the link to the video that you want, which you can find in the share button underneath every video on YouTube. And this is the link you're going to put here. If you have a video on Vimeo, you can certainly choose that. Self-hosted, things like that. Just keep, I would, without getting into too much about hosting and all that about videos, I would keep it either YouTube or Vimeo videos. Okay. Leave the autoplay off so that the viewer has the chance to put on the sound if they deem it appropriate. Player controls, you can decide to show that or not. Okay, I'm going to hit update. And one last thing before I really start styling this section, or actually using the advanced tab, is I'm going to add a button. So I'm back in here. I'm going to add a button. Look, I have a choice. You see where this dark, or sorry, where the blue line goes? I'm going to want it right below, and here is my button. Now I'm going to want this button centered. And again, it picked up the styling from the theme. In the beginning of this video, we had played around with it. I did not save those changes, so it's just going to be the default green. But if you're in here and you would like to change this, you can simply go in here and you can say view more videos here. Perhaps you have a YouTube channel and you're going to put a link to wherever you're going to take them there. If it's another page, if it's, you know, an Amazon, or if it's YouTube, whatever, you're going to add the link here. So I'm just going to say it's youtube.com/teaching tech academy, which is my channel. Okay. So when somebody hits this, it'll go to YouTube. If I want an icon, I can simply either upload my own or go to the icon library. And you've seen these a lot, whether it's an arrow or what have you. I'm going to just pick this arrow and hit insert. Now, I don't like it before, I like it after. So all I have to do is do icon position and say after. If I want to give it a little more space, there we go. That looks good. There's a few things I want to, this I wouldn't really change. I don't know why they still do that, but play around with those if you want. Styling, the typography. I want to add a little weight to this, to these, so it's a little bit more pronounced. And let me just adjust the size. Okay, there we go. I'm going to add some heft to those letters. That looks good. Maybe I want to have it all caps, so I'm just going to say uppercase. And looks good. The letters look a little squished. All right, now I'm going to hit update. So if I want to see what this looks like, I'm still in this section. I'm going to go to this little eyeball that says preview changes. It's next to the update button. So I want you to take a look at something. I'm going to preview the change. Okay, here we go. We got that nice, which I guess was the triangle. Looks good. We changed this picture out. We got some testimonials. Now, here is the section we added. There are a few things I want to show you. This heading is really close to the bottom of this new, section above. And the heading and the movie seem a little tight. The movie and the video seem tight, and the video and the next section seems a little tight. All right, here's where we're going to go and dive into that advanced tab. So all I have to do is go back and look at my tabs up here. Okay, this is the live view. I can also hit edit with Elementor. One of these days I'll be able to say that without flubbing it, but we can really just go over this other tab. Okay, great. Now let's get into the advanced. We're hitting these where it says edit section, and I'm going to go to advanced. Now I want to move this section down from this upper section, and I'm going to unlink the values because, well, no, I'm not, because I'm going to have the same margin from the top and the bottom. So see how close it is here and how close it is here? Let's give it some breathing room, shall we? So if I have it like this, it's linked values together. So whenever I do here, it's going to do at the bottom, which saves us some time. Okay, so let's see what happens here. I'm just going to start hitting this. See how that's moving down? That looks pretty good. Okay, so we're just moving the section down from here. I'm not worried about these two right now. And look, we got some room between these two as well. I like that. Now the next thing I want to do is create some space between each of these three widgets: the headline, the video, and the button. I'm going to start with the headline. I'm just going to click on it. It says edit heading, and I'm going to advance. Remember, advance is when you start giving it some elbow room and placement. Heading, the margin for the heading is fine. We just did that. I want to give it a little bit more margin between itself and the video. So I'm going to unlink this, and I'm only going to worry about the bottom. Now check that out. Again, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's really an aesthetic, your own aesthetic. I happen to like this. I've been doing this for a long time. I gotta know like how many pixels I like surrounding various items. Okay, now my video. I'm gonna click on this so I switch it over. Now it says edit video. Looks fine. Style, you know, leave it at this ratio. I wouldn't change anything, but let's go to the advanced. So here it is, and we could play around with the margins. We could play around the padding to give it some space within this section. So for kicks, I'm just going to go to the padding. I'm going to leave the links together. Again, if you want to experiment, all right, let's do this right now. Let's experiment. Let's see what happens when we change the margin. Okay, we're going to link everything together. Okay, this is fine. I don't have any problems with that. But it's starting to get a lot of space between here. And then in which case I would want to unlink it and reduce the top. Okay, see what I did there? Okay. Now, for instance, I'm going to take it all back to the way it was. Okay, now let's see what happens when we change the padding. I'm going to link them all together. Okay, not too much difference. It is, you know, one element within a section. Again, it all depends on how you are creating your sections. Sometimes you're going to use padding. Sometimes you're going to need the margin. Play around with it. Like I said, it really takes some practice understanding the finesse between a margin and padding. Margin is really when you want to separate two different sections. Padding is when you want to create space within, like say, within a column. You know, you want your picture, you know, not busting out left and right of the one column. All right, so this looks good. And again, I like this pad. I mean, I like this separation here. All right, now we're going to hit update. Let's preview that change. Great. Let's scroll down. Okay, here's our section. And again, we could have chosen a background, but we didn't. Good practice is you kind of want to be conscious or just understand what is around you in the sections above and below you. There's already sort of a slight pattern background here. I like to keep this white, and then of course down below we have the darker one. So I like to have some white space where it's needed. I probably would not do another pattern or a color here. And while we're still on the home page, let's scroll up to this section. Okay, so again, I can go to Edit with Elementor, or I can go to Elementor Home, which is the tab that's already open. I want to scroll up to the top. Okay, let's see what this is. This is an image carousel. So currently they have 3 images selected. And you can really change these around. The navigation is arrows and dots. You can have them linked, all kinds of captions. If you wanted to add, you can simply go here and edit. You're going to say add to gallery or edit gallery. Add. Maybe we wanted 3 different things in here. Again, I'm not sure which was in there already, but I'm just going to say click these 3. Again, you can upload them from your own. Simply go and select the files on your computer and hit add to gallery. Now, okay, I'm going to deselect these because these are the ones that are currently there. If I wanted to add a caption, I could do that, but now I'm just going to say insert gallery. All right, do you see how that swapped out? If I don't like the arrows and dots, I could just say dots, which would take away those arrows, and there should be some navigation dots in here, but I guess that's maybe we haven't styled it. So I'm just going to leave this as arrows and dots. Okay, let's go to style, see if some of our options are there. We can change the size of those arrows. See that? This is the net. We're under the navigation. Let's see what it says inside. Maybe we want to say outside. Okay, you can barely see them here, so we're going to have to give them some color. Let's keep it on the inside. If you want to change the color to make it a little bit more obvious, again, watch your design on these. Let's maybe go back here and see outside. You can see that a little bit better. Okay, position, dots. Let's say inside. Let's do outside. You should see them right down here. Let's add that same red color. And I don't know why those dots aren't showing, but let's see if we can see them on the inside. No. Oh, I know why. Because they don't have any size. There we go. Now you can see the dots in here. And if we want them outside, there we go. Okay, so lots and lots of options. We want to style the image. If we wanted to have a border, of course you can do that. And we're going to give it a little bit of weight. Color, you can adjust it. Maybe make it the gray. Awesome. Okay, now that's not my best design work. I'm not going to update it. Okay, that is how you can customize your website using Elementor. And let's just go to preview changes. If I go to the About page, again, same thing. Edit with Elementor, just hit Edit with Elementor because it's a new page. And it'll take you right into Elementor. And you'll be able to go through all of this. Okay, here's a section with 3 columns. If you want to switch this out, just hover over it. It says Edit Image. Choose your image. Maybe we don't want her there. Maybe we want this girl there. Okay, now be mindful of the size of images. Obviously, this is a landscape and we needed more of a portrait. All right, so again, here we are. Here is some text. We're going to go over here and start writing. We can write whatever we want to write and it'll come up on the other side. All righty. If you have any questions and you don't know what these are, just click on them. And it'll say image box. Play around with it. A fun thing to do is, let's go back to our dashboard. And to do that, you're going to go over these 3 lines on the far left. This will take you back to WordPress dashboard. And here's this little arrow. You want this, exit to dashboard. I'm going to leave. See, it says changes you made may not be saved. I don't want to save them because they were not pretty. So I'm going to say, yes, I want to leave. If not, then of course I would hit update. And for some reason it brought me here. I'm just going to say back to WordPress editor. Okay, great. Now suppose you wanted to add a page. Maybe it's just for practice. Well, in order to do that, we're going to be in pages. So on the left-hand side, and you can hover over all pages and hit If you go up here, add new, or you can just go down here and say add new. We're going to give it a title. I'm going to call it my test page. I'm going to hit publish. Yeah, I'll hit publish and publish again. Now it does not, no one can see this unless there is a link to it on the page, either in the menu or a button or whatever. So no one is going to see this unless you purposely have a, public facing link to it. I'm going to edit with Elementor. Elementor comes up with a blank page. It already has our heading and our footer, which is awesome. I don't have to worry about adding those. And I can just go ahead and start practicing and make your changes and all that, and it won't show up. It's not going to be up here unless we add it, and I'll show you how to do that. So if you want to, okay, so I showed you how to do this. Now suppose we wanted to do this. Watch this. If I click on this folder, it comes up with Elementor's templates. Okay, some of them are free, and some of them are for the pro version. Just like with the Astra sites, I happen to like the Astra sites a little bit better. Their templates they have a little bit more available. I think for the free ones down here, they're like, I don't know, like 4 or 5. If you wanted to just pop in a block, maybe you just want to say, okay, I'm doing, here, an FAQ section. Here's a couple of them. Maybe you wanted to make a page and this is your FAQ page. I could easily just go hover over one of them and hit insert. Oops, okay, you need to connect to the template library. You might as well do this together, so get started. I have an account with Elementor, but you can just simply say connect. You shouldn't have a problem. This is the free version. Great, this is now your brand new page. How easy was that? And if I wanted to update it, I could certainly update. Now I'm going to show you how to add this page to your menu. So suppose you added a page and you just want to play around with it and you don't want to add it to the menu. That's fine. You can always access it through your dashboard. But suppose you worked really hard and say, you know what, I like this. I'm going to publish this. And I want people to be able to do it. Okay. Now, before we just leave, I wanted to let you know, if you click on this one that says Starter Templates, you can also add things and more pages and individual blocks like the FAQ or a single quote. So imagine how quick it would be to create a page. Maybe it has some testimonials or a single quote. And you know what? Let's just do this. Not sure if that is going to allow me. Okay, import block. But it might be nice to have a FAQ page and just pop in a nice testimonial quote. Okay, now I'm going to hit update. And we're going to go and I'm going to show you how to add this to your menu. Let's go back to these 3 lines over here. And I'm going to go down to Exit Dashboard. Sometimes you have to hit this W. There we go. Let's scroll down to My Test Page and I'm going to rename it because I want to show you how we're going to add it to the menu at the top. So I'm just going to click Edit. Okay, so instead of My Test Page, I'm going to say FAQ, apostrophe S, and hit update. That's it. I'm going to go back into my dashboard. Okay, it says FAQs, fantastic. Now, let's talk about the menu. In order to change the menu, we're going to go over to Appearances, and we're going to scroll down to where it says Menus. So click on Menus. Great, here is our menus, okay? And we can switch things around, all this fun stuff, okay? I think I showed you this earlier. However you want it to look. Keep the name the same because in our customizer, it's calling for top navigation. If you change this and you save it, you're gonna have to go into your customizer, which is in Appearance Customize, and change the menu. Just leave it the way they already have it. Okay, now let's add that page. I can see it over here as our most recent. If you don't see it, if you have a lot of pages, just hit View All. Okay, here it is, and I'm going to click on it. And next I'm going to do is say Add to Menu. And here it is. So I kind of want it right before my contacts. Okay, great. I'm going to hit Save Menu. Fantastic. Alrighty, let's check this out. So I'm going to go up to the top where it says welcome, and I'm going to say visit site. And now you're going to see that the FAQs page is here. Now I had reset this template to its original just because I was bothering me that it looks so terrible. So we have the FAQ, and if you want to click on that, it'll take us to a brand new page. And here we go. And again, we can simply go ahead and edit this page with Elementor. So congratulations, there's a lot of fun things you can do with this. Have fun, make a bunch of test pages, add some stuff, delete things, and just have a ball. It's the best way to learn how to use WordPress.